You guys sitting beside me, we have MM3 in the building. MM3, we just want to say thank you for joining us on DTW.
Of course. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely, man. So, I mean, the go-to question that I normally kick it off with is, how did you get inspired to be a wrestler?
Oh, man. I tell people all the time, like, there are those that do this, and then there are those that are born to do this. And I think
Sure.
that I'm in that category of those that are born to do this. I'm Michigan's only third-generation wrestler. My father, he still wrestles. My grandfather, he used to wrestle. So literally in my blood, man.
Right.
Like, there was no point in time where I didn't think that I was going to be a wrestler.
So what type of pressure would you say you were under? Were you under any pressure? I'm sure you were, being a third generation.
Pressure makes diamonds, bro.
Right. Yeah.
I live for that. So like my dad had a really successful career, known as like a Michigan legend, still going strong to this day. My grandfather, like literally a legend, wrestling alongside like the Sheik and like Bobo Brazil.
Wow.
Just these legends in the business. So like I knew coming in that I had to do something, not only like different, but just like to keep up the family namesake. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? So like there's always that pressure. Like I didn't really feel it though, because like I always put the most pressure on myself just because I thrive to be the best me that I can be.
Yeah. So going into it, what's it like wrestling with your pops?
It's crazy. I've been wrestling since I was 12 years old.
Okay.
I won my first tag titles with my dad when I was 13 years old.
Wow.
And it's weird, like, cause you got to go to school the next day.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Oh, how's your weekend? How's your weekend?" Like, "Oh, we went to the park.
You got the belt with you.
I'm like, "Nah,
showing
man,
off the
we
champ.
won some championships." You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of surreal, and it's cool that I get to do it with my dad. You know what I'm saying? Some people get to play catch with their dad.
Right.
I get to like stomp people with my dad.
Exactly.
So
Hey, there you go. So we got a couple questions here on the cue card. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just ask you a couple questions, and then so kicking it off, Raw or Nitro?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I'm gonna go Nitro.
And was there a competition between you and your pops? Like, were you guys watching it at the same time, or?
So like we're just fans of wrestling, you
Right.
know what I mean? So like we're watching both products. I was more accustomed to Nitro because like I like the luchadors, and a lot of them went the Nitro route, and
Right.
that's where I was exposed to like Rey Mysterio
Yep.
and like Psychosis and like all these super dope like high flying talents, and like that just appealed to me. Raw seemed to be like a little more like character stuff,
Right.
which I thought was very cool too, like some brilliant stuff coming out of that office. But like Nitro, like the luchadors had it for me.
See, growing up, I was a Raw guy.
Yeah.
We were WWF fans in the household. But as an adult now, I've grown to like Nitro a little better because I understand it now, Okay, so Undertaker or Kane?
Undertaker.
Undertaker, okay.
Oh yeah, easy.
I'm not even going to ask why.
Easy.
we know. All right, so favorite heel of all time?
Ooh, Tracy Smothers.
Tracy Smothers. Okay.
Tracy Smothers, literally the best heel in the business ever to live.
All right.
God rest his soul. Tracy Smothers, the sweetest human outside of wrestling, but once he walked through that curtain, everybody hated Tracy.
Right.
Like there was riots started because of how much heat Tracy got, yeah.
Yeah, in those days too. I mean, you were hated. They were people trying to come after you.
Oh yeah.
Your car was being vandalized. All that
easy.
stuff.
Yeah. Definitely.
Absolutely. Okay, so what's the furthest place you've traveled to wrestle? Because you've traveled outside of Michigan, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mexico, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds great.
What year was that?
there's a couple years, 2017, 2018. Then I did some. So I'm a little geographically challenged.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like closest.
I was like, I think you're pronouncing it right, Mexico. Yeah, it's
I just as far as like distance and like the places that I've wrestled, because I wrestled like all over like North America and in some parts of like Latin America, and I just don't know if some of the top parts of Canada that I've wrestled at are technically further away from me, or if it's Mexico. That's
Right,
further
right.
away from me.
Okay.
So, one of those.
Mexico. Okay, that's fair to say. All right. So, what are some of the promotions that you wrestled for?
Tons.
Just to name, just name your top 5.
Impact Wrestling.
Okay.
GCW.
Mm-hmm.
ICW No Holds Barred. XICW, the home promotion. What's another cool one that I've wrestled for? Martinez Entertainment
Nice.
in Texas. Yeah.
Texas. Okay. I think I discovered you in Horror Slam.
Yeah.
I want to say that's kind of when I first saw you come about, and I was actually in attendance there. So I want to say Horror Slam.
That's that's up there as like one of my favorite places to wrestle, like at home for sure. Horror Slam is like my second home outside of XICW. It's always cool to wrestle at home, but sometimes I just like to get out and just wrestle different people.
Right, of course. All right, so red or blue, Raw or SmackDown?
Red, easy.
Red. Okay. What's your take on AEW right now?
Man, a lot of my friends wrestle at AEW. I think they're doing a lot of exciting stuff, and it's cool to see wrestling take precedent over like the gimmicky stuff. There's a ton of gimmicky stuff on there too, but they have some like premier wrestlers and some like really talented like talkers and like people that I've been in the ring with. Eddie Kingston, the stuff that he was doing there, like brilliant. He's brilliant always. I think that they have a really good thing going. It's different than what the WWE is, and like some people like to compare them, but like I think it's cool to have two different things that are in the same world, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I think the creative process over there is more unorthodox than, the standard form of WWE.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so what's your favorite pay-per-view or now PLE, Premium Live Event?
My favorite pay-per-view, it has to be WrestleMania. Like,
of course.
Yeah, like I can't even think of any other pay-per-view that like I would even purchase, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Like WrestleMania is the only one that comes to the front of my mind. And then like as an independent wrestler, WrestleMania is like really important for other reasons.
Okay.
Every year, wherever WrestleMania is held, it becomes like the mecca of independent pro wrestling. All of the best companies, all of the best wrestlers from all over the world, they gather at that place, and then for an entire week, there's wrestling shows nonstop, night and day.
Nice.
It's insane.
How long has that been going on for people that aren't aware of like the independent scene?
Forever.
Okay.
As long as like WrestleMania's been a traveling gig.
Yeah.
There's been independent promotions following it and capitalizing on, people traveling from all over to see WrestleMania and just giving them an alternative for the days that aren't Sunday,
Yeah, absolutely. So how many of those WrestleManias have you participated in? Or have you obviously seen a WrestleMania live?
Oh, yeah. I've seen a couple of WrestleMania live. But a lot of times I'm in the same city as WrestleMania and I don't go to the event, but I'm wrestling around the event.
Wrestling around it. Okay. So it's just, you're living it just as much as everyone else is, pretty much.
It's cool.
Okay, cool. So your favorite tag team here?
My favorite tag team.
And if you got to split, it's all right, because I know for me it's hard. I mean, there's too many to name. If you want me to break it down, I'll just say Attitude Era.
Attitude Era, Matt and Jeff Hardy. Like,
there you go.
Like, I can't.
Hardy Boys.
Yeah, Hardy Boys. Easy.
So were you, I take it, you being a high flyer and things of that nature, you trying to emulate some of those moves?
Kind of. So, while all my friends were watching like WWF, like Attitude Era, I was too, but I was also like tape trading. So I was getting like DVDs and like VHSs from Japan and from Mexico. And my favorite wrestler of all time, his name is Hayabusa. He's from Japan. He's wrestled in the States quite a few times for like a few big companies. He did some stuff with ECW, some stuff with WCW before. But I always watch all of his stuff, and that's where like all of my high flying came from.
Right.
Because like Hayabusa was just a man.
That's pretty cool for you to say too, because it's not like a generic name, you know. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure he's a legend in the wrestling world, but like
yeah,
maybe not a household name
Oh,
nowadays. No. Okay, so last question I have is, how many matches do you think you've wrestled this year?
This year.
This year.
This year I've wrestled 123 matches as of today, the 10th. Yeah.
The 10th of November. So, so have you wrestled multiple times in one night?
Yeah, a few times. I do a lot of tournament style wrestling. It's honestly some of my favorite. I like to challenge myself in a lot of ways, and I like to challenge my gas tank and how long I can go and how much I can go. So I'm always interested in doing tournaments. I got a tournament coming up where I'm definitely wrestling more than once because I'm not losing. I don't care what anybody says. I'm taking this. It's the TKW title tournament. It is in Taylor, Michigan. It's going to be pretty cool. So that's one night thing I'm going to be doing. I did a deathmatch tournament for Horror Slam. It was a 2-day event, but I wrestled multiple times both days in a row.
Okay. So that's pretty cool. So, I mean, you got what it takes pretty much. You know?
Man.
So, all right. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Wow. So that was a lot of information taken in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
But you called it. That dude was made to wrestle.
Yeah, he was made to wrestle. Learned a lot about him that I didn't know. Pretty upset that he was a Nitro guy.
You know, that one threw me for a loop there too, but a lot of his answers were right on par with mine. I learned a little bit about some of the new wrestlers out there.
Right.
Super excited to keep this going.
Right.
So if you're a professional wrestler out there or a manager or even a promotion and you want to talk some wrestling, DM Spooky or Ian. We'll get you on the show. At the end of the day, we're just a couple of dudes
talking wrestling.